Favorite games at Chickies and Pete's, ESPN's #1 sports bar at the all-new Sahara Las Vegas. Enjoy world-class food and exciting drink specials with 20 beers on tap. With over 50 screens and a massive sound system, every play becomes an epic adventure. Discover Sahara Las Vegas, home to award-winning dining, chic lounges, a stunning casino, and free parking always. Visit SaharaLasVegas.com for more info.
There's a new way to get to the game, M-Ride it. M-Ride is the luxury concierge shuttle service. It's the same bus the players use, so you can ride like a pro. M-Ride will take you.
What happened here? Did our Wi-Fi go out? I mean, I'm amazed when Wi-Fi drops. You know, it has nothing to do with me. Wow, you're surfing Jaws today. Man, that's something.
ZipZap Auto is now hiring for all positions. Experienced automotive service writers, assistant managers, salespersons, auto mechanics, smog and lube technicians. Open 24 hours a day, every day. ZipZap Auto has expanded its facility to 23 repair bays. ZipZap Auto offers wages from $20 to $50 per hour, plus benefits. Call 702-925-0000 for a quick phone interview.
He didn't get back to me. Hold on.
Personal injury law has been the same for a long time. We've had enough.
Yes.
Welcome to Sam and Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way. Because you deserve a team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Sam and Ash, 702-303-0333. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right. Will you be the next Vegas Golden
Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. We're back up and running. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. We're in a building, man. We shouldn't have Wi-Fi issues. My computer's all jacked up and full of power, so we'll see. No one called on that monologue, huh? That's like making a whole bunch of pizzas and no one comes to buy a slice.
Become a member of football's most notorious fans.
This whole situation is on me. I feel terrible for Gerard because I put him in an untenable situation.
Wow, that's a great soundbite by Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots. He's taking ownership for the failure of the first coaching hire. JT, brought to you by Raising Cane's. It just hits the spot. Chicken fingers, hand battered and cooked to order. Every crinkle cut fry comes from grade A premium potatoes, buttery Texas toast, and how about that cane sauce, man? Made on site. The recipe, it's second to none. The box combo sure hits home. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love. We're back streaming live on YouTube at JT the Brick YT. I'm shut out so far. I did 20 minutes on NFL head coaches. No one has a comment on that, so I'm going to go another 20 minutes. What type of coach style do you want in Las Vegas going forward? The coach yesterday was very honest about some of the decisions that didn't work out. The quarterback decision. So that's something that I wanted to address right now. Brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Grab yourself a Tito's, the go-to vodka of the show here. So yesterday, as I'm in the building and we're up in the TV studio, we're watching the coach downstairs. And I think Vinny Bonsignor asked him, if it was Vinny, if I'm wrong, I apologize, about, what changes would you make or what will you look back on about this? And he was very honest with his answer about some of the decisions he made this past year.
Making changes on your staff?
No, not today.
So he's not, as of yesterday, he's not making changes with his staff overall. He also talked about he didn't go with his gut. I thought that was a really important comment that he said, because I don't know what his gut is, maybe fourth down decisions that he has along the way, what he's trying to do in game, what he's trying to do as he preps for the game. He was very honest yesterday because he knew he was walking into a lion's den Well, that's a bit much. But he was going to walk into a room where people were going to ask tough questions about what happened this past season.
No, just lessons learned.
Lessons learned. Okay, so he's talking about a bunch of things that is really important for him. He's got to get better. Can we all talk about that? Is everybody good with that topic? Antonio Pierce must get better as a head coach. And that's obvious. When you go to college, your freshman, sophomore year, you better be better your junior and senior year. You should be better at times in your life when you're doing certain things. And we all know what he has to improve on, in-game management. I mean, the team really struggles at the end of the second quarter into the third quarter. I got the numbers here. I'm not making that up. And then I think possibly, and I don't know what he does in the building. I don't know what Antonio Pierce does in the building with Scott Turner and Norv Turner. But is he going to tell who's ever on the offensive side, look, this isn't working. We got to play faster and we got to play better. We got to play faster and we got to play just with more of a sense of urgency. I mean, when was the last time that you went to a Raider game and you saw a sense of urgency with the offense early in a football game? I mean, I've seen scripted plays that work well. Go to Brock, go here. I've seen that work. But when are we going to see a sense of urgency? And as I look at Mike Vrabel and other coaches that are going to, Pete Carroll, if he comes back to another team, they've coached for so long. They know what a sense of urgency is. And those are defensive coaches, Pete Carroll, along with Antonio Pierce, Mike Vrabel. But this guy, Ben Johnson, I've been watching a lot of Detroit games. I picked them to win the Super Bowl before the start of the year. And what I noticed from watching these Detroit games, and I watched Detroit, Minnesota this morning. So part of my prep, and I do this is every Tuesday, I dive in and I watch 2 or 3 NFL games that I DVR. So I watched the entire game between Detroit and Minnesota earlier this morning, and without commercials and flying through it. And I couldn't believe the sense of urgency that both coaches had. More Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator, to go one-on-one with Amik Robertson up against Justin Jefferson. Amik Robertson, former corner for the Raiders. They let him go one-on-one against Justin Jefferson. That, to me, is insanity, and it worked. It worked really good. But Dan Campbell is telling his defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, and Ben Johnson, because they always go for it on fourth down, he tells those two coaches, we are going balls out every time we play. I will not accept anything other than balls out. I will not accept anything other than violence and playing fast. And that's what Detroit does. The Raiders don't do that. The Raiders, in theory, do that on defense. They do that on defense with Max Crosby and Robert Spillane and Trayvon Merrick when he's playing in the box. But in theory, the organization does not play fast enough with a sense of urgency. And I'll quote Lincoln Kennedy, not this year. Years ago, Lincoln would tell me, dude, calm down. You always want to play this team to go no huddle, no huddle. He goes, you can't do that if you don't have the players to do it. Very good point. Do we have the players to go no huddle? Well, Jackson Powers Johnson as a rookie made mistakes, but we could work through that. Good to see Violator here and the crew. Good to have everybody. And whoever coaches the team next year on offense, Luke Getsy wasn't the right call. We all kind of knew it. I was hoping it'd work out. I don't hire the coaches. I talk to the coaches. I wanted Luke Getsy to do well. He talked to me. He sat down with me. We talked about 12 personnel, 2 tight ends. Michael Mayer wasn't available for personal reasons. Luke Getsy got the ball to Brock Bowers early in the year. He did. Brock Bowers broke every record. Luke Getsy called some of those plays. But the offense that I'm looking at now with all of these coaches who can be available, and possibly for the Raiders, there needs to be a fundamental change in Henderson on how to attack a defense and do it aggressively. And the Raiders couldn't do it this year because they didn't have a running back. They didn't have a running back. It was supposed to be Zamir White. It didn't work. And now they got to go get a running back because they had Josh Jacobs. He's having a banner year over at Green Bay. I don't know what they're going to do at running back. I know it's a priority. I know it's a top priority in the building to get a running back. Thor in Summerlin. Thanks for waiting. Start us off, Thor. What's happening?
JT, what's happening, my brother?
What do you
I'm
say?
sorry. I've been really busy. Now, I wanted to call in. I heard ain't no one calling, so I figured if someone got a call, I got a few minutes. Let me do it. Fundamentally, I need someone who's going to be the same all the time, whether you want to go for it on fourth down all the time or punt, or you want to kick a field goal.
Thor, hold on a second. Let me jump in. I got to put Thor back on hold. Ian Rappaport reporting the Raiders have fired Antonio Pierce following a trying season despite a flurry at the end, per Tom Pelissero and Mike Garafolo. So that is breaking news. Let's stop the show. Let's tell Jeff Sherman we'll talk to him tomorrow and text him, and we will go with the breaking news as my phone is now coming in. And that's what we're hearing from him. And now Adam Schefter 2 minutes ago. Great job catching this. Remember I said I got to get my phone, grabbing the phone here. Now the text is Adam Schefter in Las Vegas. The Raiders have fired Antonio Pierce. Raiders have now gone from John Gruden, who resigned in 2021, to Josh McDaniels, who they fired in 2023, to firing Pierce in 2025. According to Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, Yahoo, and us here on the flagship, Antonio Pierce reportedly has been fired. We always wait for the Raiders when the Raiders make it official. But when those guys, I always have a fail-safe. If Schefter and Rappaport have it, we'll put it out there. It's not up on the Raiders' social media yet, but that's where we stand. So that's where we're going. The Raiders are the next team looking for a head coach. I want to give all my best to Antonio Pierce and his family. I will do that on the other side, and we'll go from there. So the breaking news as we hit the radio today, according to Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport, Antonio Pierce has just been fired as the head coach of the Silver and Black.
It's the morning tailgate.
We know this in life. You're either progressing or regressing. Unless you're the Super Bowl champion and you're standing pat.
Right.
Then that's okay. You're the only one that's allowed to do that, right? But if you're not, short of being the champion, you take the quarterback out of that. I know that was a problem, but it's a 3-14 problem, and it's hard to find the progression.
The morning tailgate, weekdays at 7 a.m. on Raider Nation Radio, 920 a.m.
Sundays are for football inside the Suncoast. Step into the future of sports betting. Experience mega wall-to-wall screens, massive stadium seating, state-of-the-art audio, and exclusive VIP seating for the epic game day experience. Get food delivered right to your seat for the ultimate fan VIP treatment.
Yeah, that's you're seeing some radio right now, live radio, right? Antonio Pierce reportedly fired. I'm getting texts from inside the building now, and that's where we're at.
Local 872 has been moving Las Vegas forward. Our members built the Hoover Dam Extension Bridge, finished City Center, expanded our roads, and made Vegas the biggest stage in sports. Vegas is ready. It's game time.
So this is always tough in my position when breaking news is there, because you got to go with the breaking news. But we're obviously waiting here on confirmation. Never want to see anybody lose their job. So that's what we're in the process of doing right now.
Treasure Island is also home to Gillies, a longtime favorite of tourists and locals. A honky-tonk atmosphere with live music and dance floor for two-stepping and line dancing. Check out their toughest cowboy competition every Thursday with $200 up for grabs. Treasure Island, where parking is free. Visit Treasure Island.
We'll keep it here for a second. Don't like seeing people get fired. As you know, I have a relationship with these coaches, and it's tough.
It's for Skip and Sherman, then, correct?
Yes. Did you tell him?
I haven't told him.
Okay, I thought you were. I'll do it. Oh, no, I'll do it now.
When you open a CCCU bonus this checking account, you earn 5.13% interest on your money just for using your checking account.
Yeah, I just moved him.
Bonus checking offers peace of mind,
Yeah.
unrivaled security, and smart savings. There's so many benefits to
So I
banking.
figured Myers is out, but
Is it
we
about
still have
time
tax
you
law.
became a member? Open
Well,
a
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought it was notice- well,
No, dude. It's what are we?
Because if somebody's making money off your checking account, shouldn't it be you? That's privately insured by American Share Insurance.
Cristo Rey St. Viator College Preparatory High School, located in North Las Vegas, is accepting applications for the 2025-2026 school year. The opportunity for an affordable private college preparatory education, coupled with a real-world corporate work-study experience, is waiting for you. With a 100% graduation rate, 100% of seniors are accepted into at least one four-year university. To learn more about the school or schedule a campus tour, please call 702-844-2019 or visit CristoRayStViator.org today. That's 702-844-2019.
What is GMTVCC?
Yeah.
That's a mouthful, but translation for GMTVCC.com is give me the damn.
All right, yeah, I just got confirmation Antonio Pierce was fired from inside. So wish Coach well. A lot of big decisions went into that, and unfortunate. Had a good working experience with him, and we'll see what happens here. Obviously, no idea. This is a fluid situation. It just happened.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp,
One call Brady. Here we go.
fighting spirit since 1925.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show. Brought to you by M Resort Spa Casino, the official hotel of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay, that's where we're at. Reports are from Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport that Antonio Pierce was just fired as the head coach of the Raiders. I am inside and texting, and we are getting confirmation on that officially. So we will get that. We'll see the statement when it comes out here. And this is always tough, and it's tough for me and Bobby and anybody here that you have an association with the team and the coach. You sit down with him every week. He's treated me great, pulled hard for him, and they decided it looks like to go in another direction here. So we always wait for the Raiders to make it official, other than when Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport have that news. And it's the 6th NFL head coach vacancy. Ian Rappaport said no other changes yet. So Ian Rappaport, 11 minutes ago, the Raiders have fired Coach Antonio Pierce. And then Adam Schefter just put this out a little while ago, right around the same time. These guys are trying to beat each other. Adam Schefter right now, a minute ago, Raiders are retaining GM Tom Telesco per source. So the current NFL job openings as of this moment at 12:45 are the Raiders, the Jets, the Jaguars, the Bears, the Saints, the Patriots. There are 2 general manager positions that are open, the Jets and the Titans. Adam Schefter 9 minutes ago, the Raiders endured a 10-game losing streak during Antonio Pierce's only season as a full-time head coach. It was also the first time they went winless against the AFC West opponent since 2006. Several players continued to voice support for Pierce after the season, and he admitted he should have trusted his gut more. However, ownership has decided he won't get the chance. Adam Schefter reporting another change. The Las Vegas Raiders fired head coach Antonio Pierce. So as I've been in this position before, we thank Coach. I'll get a chance to thank him personally, and I hope great things happen for him going forward. He had a tremendous impact on the Raider Nation. He had a tremendous impact on the players within the organization. I know that to be true. And it's a business. It is a business. And when there's a business, things like this happen. And I hope we could all take the high road today and thank Coach Pierce for his services to the Raiders. As he is a Raider fan, he grew up a Raider fan. And we'll be covering this with breaking news. And yes, Tom Telesco is staying. So thank God the phone's on and the radio show's on. From time to time, news happens live during a broadcast. And we don't have teleprompters and we don't have people coming in here. But the importance of what's happening here is that the Raiders will be retaining or going out and searching for a new coach. And why did it happen today and not yesterday? Well, yesterday they met. Everybody's been in the building meeting. And so this is just coming down the pipe here. And they took a day. They talked about it. Maybe they had the decision or not lined up. But again, I feel for coaches when they get fired, all of them. They have families. It's their life. They put everything into it. And very unfortunate here as we're live on YouTube, JT the Brick YT, and we're live on the flagship of the Silver and Black Raider Nation Radio. And I'm not shocked by this. We knew coach. I opened up the show talking about NFL coaches, for 30 minutes, and we mentioned he was on the hot seat. But yesterday, it seemed like there was a chance he would be retained because he wasn't let go immediately like other coaches. But with the meetings yesterday and today and the reports that are out here and confirmed, Antonio Pierce is out as the head coach of the Silver and Black. And I wish him nothing but greatness going forward. I have great things to say about him for what I watched him do, what I seen him do leading at home, on the road, traveling with the team in Costa Mesa. And the guy was completely invested in this team and wanted to win. And really wanted to win passionately, wanted the players to have a good time, wanted the players to celebrate and have joy in their lives with their family. And he was trying to win right down the stretch and not tank to keep his job, but he came up short. Cisco from the Black Hole here in Vegas. You're up first. Go ahead.
Hey, JT, what a shocker, I guess, in some senses, but not in others. We talked about it. We need the stability. I would have liked to have seen him get another year, but with the way our division is unfolded, I mean, he's competing against 3 Super Bowl coaches, and that's tough. That's tough. And I don't think his pedigree coincides with his competition. No fault by him by any means. But all I'm looking for now, if this is the direction they're going to go and let AP go, you don't quit a job unless, and he didn't quit, but, you don't, unless they got a backup is basically what I'm trying to say. If they're going to let him go, do they have somebody in the wings? Time will tell. We'll get to see that. But, I hope they have somebody in the wings waiting. And I hope it's a good quality guy, because look at our division. Like I said moments ago, we need to compete. We need to compete fast. So, hey, my hat's off. Just like you said, AP did the best he could. And
hey, AP Cisco, AP was Black Hole. You guys gave him a jacket. He loves the Black Hole. And, when you look at the fraternity and sorority of the Black Hole, he's right up there at the top. And I know you and the club, the Black Hole, and everybody will wish him well for his time here. No doubt about it.
Most definitely.
Take care, Cisco. Good to hear from you, buddy. Appreciate it. The Raiders have put it out officially. The Las Vegas Raiders have relieved Antonio Pierce of his duties as head coach. We appreciate Antonio's leadership, first as the interim head coach, and this past season as the head coach. Antonio grew up a Raiders fan, and the Silver and Black roots run deep. We are grateful for his ability to reignite what it means to be a Raider throughout the entire organization. We wish him nothing but the best for Antonio and his family in the future. That's the official statement from the Raiders as we get rolling here. And we're going to take your calls the rest of the way. 702-365-9200. And we'll keep rolling here and get going. This is breaking news. In my 27 years of doing this, I think this is my first time on the air live when a decision's made right live during the show. Usually you get a little bit more time. But there's going to be a lot of reaction to this, and there's a lot of opinions going forward. And again, I think everybody generally really liked this coach and wanted him to do well. And that's why he went from interim head coach. He impressed Mark Davis enough when there was a void after the firing of Josh McDaniels to go get the job, to go beat Kansas City on Christmas Day and to have this team fired up and make the fans believe and be energetic with the fans, being around the fans. He was always available, and he was always available for me in the building there. So I appreciate that. And if you know my track record with the coaches, who have been here in the past, and I still have good relationships with him. I hope that's the case with Antonio Pierce. Really respect the job that he did here. Not that he tried to do. He did a job here. He really did. He did a really good job considering what he was going up against this season. All the injuries, the quarterback play, and I think a lot of fans agree with that. He had a chance. He did not have everything go his way this year, and that's the part of this business that's tough when you're a coach and you know you're the right guy. Like, he knows he's the right guy, but the quarterback situation, the injuries to Kuntz and Wilkins and Crosby and everybody else, it hurts the team in the long run trying to win. So that's where we're at here. Brazy in Vegas, you're up next on the Raider flagship. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to thank AP. Really appreciate him. I think that statement from the Raiders was great when they said he reignited what it was like to be a Raider in the building with so many things that had going through. He reignited kind of Raider Nation and the proud of what it meant to be a Raider. Hopefully whoever they bring in can continue that on, that brashness to come out on the field ready to go. You know, when you were talking earlier about, you know, what kind of coach, I prefer a coach that is either calling plays on one side of the ball, because I think that helps you not lose coordinators year after year and have to replace. You at least have one side that's consolidated. But, you know, this going forward, it's here we go again, Raider Nation, right? Got no continuity. What do our players are going to think? You know, they're going to sell the house and just try and start over. If you look across the board at it, you know, we're one of the worst situations because we got no quarterback. What are we going to do?
I wouldn't go that bad. I mean, look, I could see you saying, you know, what the coach is going to come into. They got the 6th pick overall. They got more money than any team available. They got some good players on the team. And Antonio Pierce left the locker room, and it wasn't divided. So these are professional football players. They play for a lot of different coaches. They love AP, and I'm sure there's going to be people in that locker room today who are texting him, talking to him now. Mark Davis has a really good relationship with Antonio Pierce. Report is Tom Telesco is staying. So Tom Telesco will be a part of what happens next here, and we're going to wish everybody well. These are tough decisions, man, that affect lifestyles and families, and we take it really serious around here. So again, the last 2-3 coaches since I've been in Vegas with Coach Gruden, when you look at Coach Bisaccia, what a gentleman and a great guy. Josh McDaniels came in with all the will and vision to win and try to put a great team out there with his vision. It did not work. And Antonio Pierce tried to clean that up, got the Raiders going again, but a lot went against him this year, and he is out as the head coach of the Silver and Black. More of our breaking news coverage as we continue on the flagship of the Raiders, Raider Nation Radio, and on the Raiders mobile app. Big chat room of over 320 people talking about this. JT the Brick YT. We will broadcast live tomorrow with a special edition of the show at Raiders headquarters. And stay tuned to breaking news. Q's coming up in an hour, and I'm sure he'll have a lot to say on this. Yeah, we might.
It's
yeah, they just said that. So we'll see.
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday on Raider Nation Radio.
Wow.
And
I mean, wow.
Radio
Just,
Las Vegas.
you know, I came in today to prep for the show and had no idea this was happening. I mean, aware that it could happen, obviously, but no idea that this was going to happen today. So it is breaking news. Yep. Chat's going pretty big here if you want to get in here. And then you can start talking about, you know, upcoming candidates and who's going to be the next head coach of the Silver and Black. Yep, my phone is blowing up, so give me a minute. You know, I think what's going to be interesting now is the fact that Vrabel, who's connected to Brady, and I have no idea if Vrabel's got the job, but the fact that everybody's trying to get in front of Vrabel, I'm hoping that the Raiders get in front of him, obviously just to talk to him. And then there's a lot of other coaches out there now that the Raiders can request a meeting with. Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Pete Carroll, who I mentioned before. So as this is happening here, I got people here saying Deion Sanders. So again, I got wind that we were going after Josh McDaniels before he got hired from being in the building and how impressive he was in the interview. So I got wind of that, but they haven't even started the interview process. I'm assuming it's going to start today. I'm assuming it's going to start today. So that's it. I'm not going to be able to read everything here because we're blowing up here in this chat. But, if you want an offensive young coach or a veteran, that'll be a pretty big topic the rest of the week. Then obviously the Rooney Rule, where you have to interview the minority candidates in-house or outside the organization. So it's going to take a little bit of time. Reserve your ride at mridelv.com. Use promo code BRICK. That's mridelv.com, promo code BRICK.
Colin here. Vegas is like my second home. I started my career there with Tarks 1 and Rebels. Still visit regularly, so I know Vegas. The only jeweler in Vegas, I would recommend Jewelers in Vegas. My friend Mordecai. Listen, they were #1 jeweler in Vegas back when I lived there. And they're
Raider
still the
T.
#1 jeweler today, winning award after award.
You're up first.
Local
Hold on.
family business, which I love. Great prices on anything you need and absolutely the best service. It's the reason why everybody
Vince.
goes there to buy their diamonds and jewelry. Also,
You're
take
number
advantage of
2.
their
Hold on,
lifetime
okay?
trade-in on diamonds. That's great. They've been doing that for decades. Plus,
Raider Nation, what's your
resizing
name,
on
man?
stuff you buy while you wait. The
Hello,
Jewelers
hello.
of Las Vegas doesn't make promises they can't keep. Never have.
Hey, what's your
Been
name, man?
almost 50 years, so they'll always be
Trent,
there
where
when
you calling from?
trust me, that's important. Getting a
Okay,
gift
Trent,
that
you're
means
number
a
3.
lot
Hold on,
is
okay?
meant to
Yep.
last. Take it from me. The only place I would go
All right.
Man, that's
A lot of speculation. Johnson or Cohen from Tampa Bay?
call me young man. That's okay.
Why let AP do the presser and fire him? Because they didn't make the decision yesterday and they had a press conference they had to do. What do you want them to do? They didn't want to fire him yesterday. They were doing more due diligence, I guess.
Oh, shit.
That's why they deliver the very best IT security, office equipment, collaborative technology, and so much more. Let Les Olson IT's Perfect 10 service power your business at lesolsonit.com. Les Olson IT.
Don't miss the Rich Eisen Show following the morning tailgate. Weekday mornings at 10 here on Raider Nation Radio 920 AM, KRLV Las Vegas.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show. Brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Finley Cadillac Performance Studio.
Raiders bring a blitz. He takes it off the middle, and he's wrapped up from behind. Max Crosby.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 20 years.
Over to the 35, racing to the 20, 10, touchdown Raiders.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
JT with you as we open it up. ESPN Sports Center breaking news. Raiders fire Antonio Pierce after his second season, 9-17 as Raiders head coach, including 5-4 as the interim head coach last year. This news just came down about a half hour ago. Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport had it first. Raiders put out a public statement on all social media, and we're covering this breaking news story in real time. Q Myers coming up next hour. I'm sure Q will have information from his sources in the building there. And unfortunate that this didn't work out for Antonio Pierce. He gave it everything he had. He gave it everything he had. Most coaches do, but he was invested a little bit more. From his relationship growing up as a fan in Southern California, for being the linebacker coach, then the interim head coach, and moving forward. Clearly, we all know that Coach Pierce loved the Raiders, and it's unfortunate it didn't work out. He gave everything, his heart and soul, for this job. A good man. It was great to me, like most of the coaches are, but he was just different. Just had our last interview with him last week, and we had some nice words for each other, and I wish him well going forward. I don't know what position he'll be in going forward, coming out as a head coach, but he's got the head coach title under his belt, and I'm sure he'll be coaching in this league for a long time. A lot of teams could use what Antonio Pierce has, the passion to win. He's a Super Bowl champion as a former player for the New York Giants, and we wish him well. So now the conversation starts on what I said is the most important offseason in the history of the Las Vegas Raiders, this chapter of 5 seasons. This is it. This is the year. Tom Telesco retains his position as GM. Tom Brady is a minority owner for the team, and they got to get it right. So why today? I've had a couple of people here on a chat say, why today? And why'd they make him do the press conference yesterday? Simply because they didn't fire him yesterday. They fired him today, and they had a press conference yesterday, which was mandatory. Mark Davis was in the building today. Was in the building yesterday and meeting with coach and others, and the decision just came down. So where do we go from here? Look, I'm going to treat it like any other radio show. I'm going to treat it like any show that everything's wide open. From Mike Vrabel to Ben Johnson. I'm assuming the Raiders, as we speak, are lining up interview requests. I don't know who those players are. We'll find out here probably pretty quickly when it becomes public on who the Raiders are requesting to talk to. But I think most of this show should be about thanking Antonio Pierce. I think that should be the next hour of our show, is talking about Antonio Pierce and what he was able to do here. You know, the good, some of the bad, but the fact that he really cared about this. And a lot of people were fired up for him to do well. A lot of people were fired up for him to do well and wanted him to do well, including me, like every coach. But there was something special about him, his gravitas, and his ability to just go out there and want to believe that he could win and have this team where they did. I thought they traveled that way. They came out of every game. Very prideful, commitment to excellence, and he cared. Now, this wasn't a guy mailing it in, man. This guy, I saw him every week. He never mailed it in. He wanted to win every game. It was a really uncomfortable topic with a lot of Raider fans here over the last 2 months about winning. Adam Schefter, Tom Brady is expected to be part of the collaborative committee to interview the next head coach of the Raiders. So that just comes down from Adam Schefter moments ago. Let me get that again and give you that too so it's accurate. Adam Schefter, ESPN, Raiders limited owner Tom Brady is expected to be part of a collaborative committee to interview head coaching candidates and support team owner Mark Davis per league source. So I think a lot of us figured that out, that Tom Brady would be involved in the quarterback. He's involved in everything. Tom Brady is not a consultant. He's an owner. He's one of the owners of the Raiders, not the majority owner, but an owner, and he's going to be there, and we'll see what happens. But we just had a player's coach. We had a player's coach, a guy who really connected well with the players. I don't know if the Raiders need something that's the opposite there. A lot of people are texting me and blowing me up. We need someone else here with a different style, someone with new eyes from outside the building, someone to come in here, offensive side of the ball. So all the candidates that we're talking about who are still left are available for the Raiders to interview. I don't know who the Raiders are going to interview first. I would guess that it would be Mike Vrabel. I would guess that Mike Vrabel would be the guy that the Raiders want to get in the building quickly because of his relationship with Brady. And the other thing about Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel and Ben Johnson, because Ben Johnson's going to have a window here from Detroit. He would be a great choice too. You got to move quick on those guys. Okay, you can't interview them and then interview 11 other guys and go, hopefully they're going to be there. You got to follow the rules of the NFL, the Rooney Rule. You have to interview multiple candidates. We all know how that works. And also Patrick Graham, I believe, is out of the building today. And Patrick Graham is interviewing for the defensive coordinator of the Cincinnati Bengals along with the head coach in Jacksonville to become the head coach. So if things are moving fast with Patrick Graham, I would like to see him stay in the building. But if you hire a defensive head coach, that might not be the case. So we don't know. It's a fluid situation. Raider T, start us off, hour number 2. What do you got?
Hey, Brick, I wanted to call in. I was rooting for AP. I'm a big fan of his. I think he's got the Raiders in his blood. But the last month of the season, my focus was, is he going to be the guy to lead us in the future? And is O'Connell going to be the guy to be the quarterback in the future? And, you know, like I said, I wanted him to succeed, but my gut was telling me I'm not sure if this is the guy. I'm glad they thought about this thing and they came to a decision on it. And I'm excited that Tom Brady is going to be involved in this future decision because I think he's going to have a pretty big influence on it and make sure we bring in the right guy. And to follow up on what Cisco said, I think one of the important factors of this whole thing is look at the other three coaches and quarterbacks in our division. You can't, and I like AP, but he's just not in that same caliber of those three guys. And if we want to compete with those guys, I think we have to bring in a coach that's of that caliber that can compete with those guys. I'm not the guy to tell you who that coach is, but I think Tom Brady will be have a big impact on that.
Yeah, I appreciate the call. Remember, Richard Seymour is also, I don't know what he's going to be a part of in this search, but Richard Seymour is also a minority owner, a Hall of Famer. And Mark Davis obviously has a lot of people that he counts on. And look, Mark's hired a bunch of coaches lately, and it hasn't worked. And the big one was Gruden. I know a lot of people are asking me about John Gruden. You know what I feel about John Gruden. I love John Gruden. I love John Gruden. But there's a lot of other coaches out there that are qualified, and I don't know what's happening here. You know, if you look at all the coaches that have been here, the ones who have been successful over the decades, from John Madden and Tom Flores coming in-house, that doesn't look like it's going to be the case here. It's going to have to, again, be someone that wasn't developed in-house. You got to remember, Jim Harbaugh's first ever job was with the Raiders after he retired from being a player. He worked for the Raiders and Al Davis. So is there a connection of others out there that can fit the system well? And this is the new system, man. Everybody gets this. Mark Davis is giving a lot of creed and power to Tom Brady, and I think Tom Telesco, to put this together the way they want to do it from a talent perspective and a quarterback perspective. I believe the elephant in the room is the quarterback scenario. If I wanted to be the head coach of the Raiders and I was interviewing with the Raiders, I'd be saying, what do you plan on doing at the quarterback position? Are you going to get Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, Sam Darnold? Are you going to trade up to get Shador or Cam Ward? Are you going to trade back and get Jackson Dart? What are you going to do? And then if you're a coach, you come in here and you go, okay, I think I know the vision of what I want to do. How much power will that coach want? What I mean by power, if you hire a guy like Mike McCarthy or Pete Carroll, okay, they're used to having really big power, okay, in the organization. What are they going to be able to select? How are they going to work well with Tom Telesco? Maybe Tom Telesco has someone in mind that he's been working with for years, and he thinks someone that he knows through someone else is the perfect candidate. So all of this is fluid as we are looking at it. But now the Raiders, I believe, made this decision for two reasons. Pretty clear the record didn't help Coach Pierce at all. 9-17. It's a fast-moving league. When you don't win, you're out. If you don't win, you're out. And he had a lot stacked against him. And there should be an asterisk next to his 9-17 record. The asterisk would be all the injuries, but other coaches have to deal with that. And then secondly, you look at the coaches that are going to be left and available. You got to find someone who can quickly bond with Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins and the leadership core of this organization, because Max has played for multiple coaches, and I don't think Max likes that. But Max is the first one to step up in the building when a new coach gets a job. He is waiting at the door for that coach because he wants to win. So do you want to already get an established winner? That's a topic for the next couple of days. Do you want a Super Bowl coach? The Super Bowl coaches that are available are Mike McCarthy, John Gruden, and Pete Carroll. Am I forgetting some other ones who are out there that are in this search, in this group that are here? Those are the ones that have Super Bowl pedigree, but there's been coordinators out there that have been on Super Bowl teams. I don't think Brian Flores is the answer, defensive coach that's out there, but there are a lot of names, and there's only a few big ones. There's only a few big names who are out there. All right, let's get out to Vince in North Las Vegas. Vince, go ahead.
JT, what's going on? Happy New Year, brother. How you
You
doing?
too. Doing well, thanks.
First off, I just want to thank AP for at least restoring that feeling from all the way from last year to beating the Chiefs on Christmas to leading up to the beginning of this year. We had that feeling of excitement, so I want to thank him for all he's done. What he lacked in experience, he had in leadership, without a question. So he's a true leader of men. I believe that. It's unfortunate that we had to let him go, but I understand how this division is leading, where this division is going. We're just trying to play catch up. But in the midst of saying that, JT, I just want to ask, man, I don't know, how are you feeling? Because right now it's very frustrating. This franchise is really lacking stability, and that's the number one thing. Since Carr days, he played with us 9 seasons. He had 6 different head coaches.
Well, but let me answer that question while you're on the line.
Go ahead.
The lack of stability that you think is not prevalent here is because Mark's giving people the opportunity to take over the team and coach it, and they're not winning. So again, if you want to sit here and say part of your phone call, I wish we didn't fire Antonio Pierce and give him more time, I respect that phone call. But more Raider fans want to win than want to give coaches time around here. I'm on the front line of the Raider Nation. 95% of them want change because they don't like what they see.
It's not about, well, put it like this, JT. I at least wanted to see AP coach in 1 year, but when I bring up stability, let's go all the way back to Jack Del Rio. We did him the most dirty, if you ask me. And we had a good team. We had a solid foundation. We had a quarterback that believed in it. We had players that trusted in his system, but we let him go. And we constantly shoot ourselves in the foot. And I guarantee you, even with the Gruden situation, when we rehired him and all that stuff came out, I would love to see a owner with a little bit of backbone be like, no, you know what? I know who this guy is. This is not who he is. Even the players back that Coach Gruden up and said this all can't be true. That was in the past. If I would like to see my owner have some backbone and keep Gruden. Who knows where we would be?
Yeah.
You know. Then after Gruden, we hired Mick Dummy. We know how that went.
All right, goodbye. Well, goodbye. You're acting like an idiot now. You're calling coaches names, and you're acting like an idiot. You had a really good phone call going, and then you're saying the owner doesn't have a backbone, and you're making up names. I don't want junior, 4th grade radio, especially on a day like today, where I know the coach and I know him pretty well, and I'm upset that the coach got fired for obvious reasons because we know him. Okay, I don't consider myself a high-end friend of his, but I'm more than an acquaintance. And whenever a coach gets let go, we don't start calling names about former coaches and this and that. Okay, things could have been handled differently along the way. It's big boy radio. It's grow-up radio. It's people trying to find out what happened today. We know why he was fired. He's a good man. He coached his ass off, tried to win. They were hurt. They couldn't win. He didn't have a quarterback that could carry a team on his back yet. And that all led to him being let go. And then the new coach who's going to come in here is going to have some similar differences, similarities. Look at the roster. The coach who's taken over the team, you would like to see some patience and let that coach go out there and try to get it done. But it's a very fluid situation, as we say, because you got to get this one right. It's been the theme of the offseason, as I continue to tell you. Brought to you by Modelo, the power of the #1 beer in America, Modelo. All I'm going to be talking about is getting it right. The pressure is on to get it right. There was always pressure from Mike Mayock and Reggie McKenzie and Dave Ziegler and Tom Telesco. There's more pressure now to get it right because we've been in Vegas for 5 seasons and it's not right. And we're in the sports and entertainment capital of the world with a global fan base, that hasn't won in 20 plus years. So yeah, there's more pressure for Tom Brady and Tom Telesco to get this right. And that's what they're getting paid to do. And hopefully you have confidence in them. If you don't have confidence and you're going to be one of these wait and see guys, okay, step out today. You don't have to have an opinion. If you want to wait and see, we'll wait and see. But we got job to do here over the next couple of days. Got to figure out or have an idea who's going to be the next head coach. Trenton Henderson, right here on 920 locally. Go ahead.
Hey, JT, it's a pleasure speaking to you on this very sad day. Antonio Pierce being fired should be a classic textbook case study on why an interim coach should never be hired. Interim coaches fail time over time over time. And whether it's collegiate or NFL, this is not an on-the-job training position. And Antonio Pierce was so far out of his league and out-coached at every phase of the game. If the Raiders are really lucky, they need to build a foundation. And the only way they can build a foundation is to hire somebody like Pete Carroll, start attracting players that want to play for the Raiders. Right now, the foundation is cracked. It's broken. It's horrendous. Nobody wants to come play for the Raiders now. And thank God Pierce is gone. Now we at least got a chance to move on But unless they hire Pete Carroll, just go back a year from now. What if Mark Davis would have hired Belichick? Now you got Belichick. Now you got Brady. Now you got a foundation to build off of. Now your players want to come play for the Raiders.
I don't agree. I don't agree with you on that. That players appreciate your call. I don't agree that people don't want to play for the Raiders at all. I'm in the building. People love playing for the Raiders. Love playing for the Raiders. So give me a break. There's a lot of teams in this league that haven't won, and players love playing for the team. Cincinnati's never won squat, and their owner Mike Brown is historically not a generous guy, and you play. Yeah, we got to get through another thing too. From my ability to talk to some of the Hall of Famers and veterans around this team, I will tell you one thing on the record. No one wants to be, the old school guys don't want a coach that they're friendly with. They don't care about that. They want a coach who's going to provide discipline and make players accountable. Antonio Pierce did that. He had a pretty good track record with this. He was accountable. He was there. The players showed up. The players took him seriously. He listened to the players. Did he like to celebrate after a win? Sure. No doubt. I mean, Christian Wilkins wanted to come here. Do we forget that? There's going to be plenty of people that want to come play here. But there's no doubt they have to get this right. And as I think we do a pretty good job in building topics and moving it forward. I mean, Bobby was looking at me today. We came in and he's like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I think I got this really good topic on NFL head coaches and NFL coach and vacancies and how it's going to play out here over. And he's like, all right, go for it. Bobby, every day, the producer says, you're going to do what you want to do. I got sound to back up your monologue. And we tried to piece it with Jerry Jones sound with McCarthy and all that. And then boom, thunderstruck. Bolt of lightning comes in. I look down at my phone. How about my son? I got to give my son credit. As he texted me, Dad, AP's gone. I didn't know. I didn't get a phone call or a text because no one in the building confirmed it. Adam Schefter had it along with Ian Rappaport. Then the Raiders confirmed it. That's live radio, man. That's how this thing happens. I'm not sitting here going, man, we had it first. We had it first because we're on the air. We're just on the radio. If Q was on the radio, Q would have it first, or Vinny, Clay, and Vince. That's not important. What's important is a man and his family just lost a job as a head coach in the NFL, and that sucks. When that happens to anybody, it's really tough. Big Al in San Francisco, been around this team a while. What do you think, Big Al, going forward?
Well, I guess what it comes down to is if you're going to fire him after 24 games or whatever that magic number was, why did you hire him? I thought they were hiring him because they were going in a direction where they were going to be delegating, delegating specialties to older, more veteran players, more veteran coaches on the offensive and defensive side, and let AP kind of serve as more of a CEO, motivational, kind of a big picture guy, and not an X's and O's guy. So if you weren't going to do that, and you didn't have a clear picture for what you were going to do with him, why did you actually hire him in the first place? A couple of years ago, when when John got let go, and we had Bisaccia, and Bisaccia was not an offensive coach. He was not a defensive coach. He was a special teams coach, and he was much more of a motivator and a leader than he certainly was on the offensive and defensive sides of the ball. And then they let him go, and it looked like they were saying, well, let's see if we can try this with AP. They had no direction at all, absolutely none. And I'm upset that he got fired. We don't know if he would have been a great head coach or not if he had the pieces around him. He didn't have long enough, but then again, the philosophy was different, and they just didn't let anything go. It was like the last 24 games have been just a colossal waste of time for the organization that has wallowed and has seen the Broncos jump over them, Kansas City move leaps and bounds away from them, and the Chargers, I guess we'd have to say, if they didn't jump over them and they were ahead of them, they certainly distanced themselves too. And now what are they going to do to be able to bring this team back into a competitive nature within your division? This isn't the NBA where divisions don't matter. The divisions matter, and they matter greatly in the NFL. And now the Raiders are a distant fourth. Are we going to be able to say that they are a competitive team in 2027?
No.
I don't know. That's where I'm at. I'm a little confused by it.
Yeah, I can tell you're confused, Big Al. Thanks for the call, and you're well versed and know the history of this team. There are going to be people upset that Antonio Pierce got fired. There are going to be people happy because they want to go in a different direction with a more seasoned head coach. And it's my job here to give my opinions and funnel through everyone else's opinions and see what happens here. Whenever they make a change, this is Captain Obvious stuff. Whenever they make a dramatic change, which would be a head coach or a GM, it's necessity. They have to do it because they have to get better. So there was enough evaluation of Coach Pierce, enough of it, enough of a body of work, but where Mark Davis and who he was talking to in the building decided it wasn't good enough. That's a debatable topic. You know, you just had a caller say, give him another year. Give him more time to get his players back who are injured. That's fair. That's a good debate topic. But the other side is you might be able to get a better coach who Tom Brady or Mark believe is a better coach who's available now, and they're acting quickly on that. We're all going to find out about this, and we're going to react to it. But all we're doing is guessing now who the next coach is going to be. You know, I'm going to have people on one side of the room that say, it's all Brady, it's Vrabel, it's done. Then we're going to have other people say, no, it's not, because they're going to go get this guy because someone knows this guy, and this is – I don't know. We don't know who the coach is, but when the coach gets hired, one thing that will always remain, as long as I get the opportunity to do this, is that we will fully get behind the coach with everything we have. Not 100%, 110%. In the hopes that this coach gets it right, the new coach, and brings the Raiders back to greatness. That's what we're here for. If you're here with the Raider Nation, you're a member of the Raider Nation, your number one goal, and this goes for every team in the league. There's 6 coaching vacancies now. Chicago Bears, Dallas could have an opening now. Jacksonville, New Orleans, all their fans want the same thing. The right guy to walk in that room who's going to turn out to possibly be the next Tom Landry, Jimmy Johnson, John Madden, Bill Cowher, Tom Flores. You want those guys to coach your team, and it's hard to find them. 702-365-9200. Tequila Commissario. Man, we could all have a little tequila Commissario today and tonight and salute Antonio Pierce. He was relieved of his duties as the head coach of the Silver and Black, but we wish him well going forward. He gave everything to the Raiders. Raider Nation, salute Antonio Pierce for his tenureship with the Silver and Black.
It's the morning tailgate.
I'll take that one on tequila Commissario.
How come I didn't know?
Yeah, well, there you go. So he'll get it. Yeah, I wouldn't have known if I didn't look at my phone. I mean, there was no one who told me an hour before the show, get ready, the coach is getting fired. You know, that's the way Mark does it. Mark comes up. Hey, I need everybody to hit the like button, please. If you're here, we got 341, 100 likes. We need 340 likes. It's all part of our algorithm. Appreciate it. Please hit the like button. I'd greatly appreciate that.
Ryan.
Man, a lot of people on my chat.
You're going to be up first. You're up in about 4 minutes. Are you ready to skip up?
Yeah, if you can hit like and subscribe. If you're going to come here, I really need you to hit the subscribe button. It's free. Please do that.
Kelvin, you're number 3.
Center offers signature loans up to $5,000 in minutes, and you don't need great credit or collateral. No checking account required.
Yeah, okay.
Application fees and no prepayment penalty. It's easy to qualify, and you only pay interest for the time you have the loan out. If you have a payday or title loan now, you're gonna love the DLC. Our rates are normally half of the competition.
Yeah, what do you think, everybody? Yeah, I'm not a head coach. No place for name calling.
In the Valley, Summerlin in Boca Park, on the Strip at the Palazzo, Southwest Las Vegas on Rainbow, and in Green Valley on Eastern Avenue. Grimaldi's the best pizza I've ever had. You know, a lot of lawyers who advertise here don't even live here. If they say Nevada, they're not from around here. If they think our capital is Las Vegas, they're not from around here. I'm Richard Harris, and I am from Nevada. I grew up here. I went to school here.
Yep, it's always tough when a coach gets fired, man. Always tough. You know, it's tough, especially when you know the person.
Running a business gets more complicated every year, so you need a trusted advisor in your corner, especially when it comes to your workers' comp program. Pro Group Management has been helping Nevada's self-insured businesses for over 20 years.
Yeah, okay.
Trucking, building, agriculture, or auto. Our team has the expertise.
Still on? That's a good sign.
What's that?
So the caller is still on. That's a good sign.
At a price that fits your budget. Our award-winning team keeps track of all the important regulatory issues that impact your business. We help with safety, compliance, and inspections, because that's what you should expect from a trusted business partner. Find out how to have Pro Group Management work for you.
All right. It's going to be Max Crosby coming back. Did you get the calls?
Yeah.
I'm not a drinking man, but I'm telling you what, I think I'm going to be stopping at PT's on the way home. One fucking day. It's not even Tuesday.
You don't have hockey tonight, do you?
No. They have to take me off the hockey games with the late night game. Plus, I got 3 out of 4 coming up. They're just playing the Sharks today.
So you want me to go in this order?
Yeah.
Nash, okay.
So the first one is number 5. The first one would be Ryan. Then Nash.
Okay, got it. Okay.
You still on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Radio Nation, what's your name? Hello.
Oh, yeah, I don't do song and dance during the commercials. I save the voice and kind of talk here.
Here we go.
These are the days I need Raider D to be my administrator. The Bricktator can't keep an eye on all these.
The first Crosby cut.
Maldi's Pizzeria, home of the famous New York-style coal-fired brick oven pizza.
Everybody has their opinions. Last year I was very vocal about wanting AP here. That's very well known. You know what I mean? And I don't take that back. There's certain things I've done in my career that, maybe I shouldn't have said this, or maybe I should have said more. You know what I mean? In certain times, but where I'm currently at, that's not my job.
So that's Max Crosby yesterday on the Let's Go podcast. He took over for Tom Brady with Jim Gray. I think Belichick, who's ever on it, Peter King. But Mad Max, his opinion on this. We're covering the breaking news of the firing of Antonio Pierce as the head coach of the Silver and Black. We wish him well. More information will come out. I'm sure Antonio Pierce will have comments coming up here sooner than later. And as we always done, I've been down this road many times. When a coach gets let go, you thank them for everything they did, and we'll wait to see what happens next as the Raiders are able to jump in now and start the interview process with a lot of candidates that are out there that are good. I don't know if they're going to sit down in front of Ben Johnson or Detroit's Aaron Glenn. You got 2 coaches that have a window to speak. Now, will those requests be out there? I'm sure Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport will have all of that as they go out here and take a look going forward of exactly what the timeline is going to be for the Raiders to make a move and go get someone. And I think it's going to be really important. What Adam Schefter said less than 30 minutes ago, Tom Brady is expected to be a part of the committee to interview the head coaching candidates. Tom Brady's got a job. He works for Fox. He's doing playoff games. He's on the number 1 team. So Tom Brady's going to be pretty busy coming through here and getting it done. So we'll get an eye on this here. So this is breaking news today, and Q's coming up at the top of the hour, and I'm sure he'll have a lot to say on this. Ryan in San Diego, you're up next. Ryan, what's happening?
Thank you, JT. I want to join you and all the other listeners and say thank you to AP, first of all. And then I'm happy that a lot of us are happy that Richard Seymour and Tom Brady have added to the ownership group.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know if you think there's any place in this organization for Rich Gannon. He seems to have many opinions and
Yeah, I'm a big Rich Gannon guy. Having Rich Gannon, who's primarily a broadcaster now and's got a lot going on in his life with his family. I've always said more of Rich Gannon is a good thing around here. I'm a big Rich Gannon guy, really big. He's super sharp. He's a really sharp guy. And if Rich was involved in some type of role as a consultant, or Rich did anything down the road, was involved with the search committee, or was just having dinner with Mark Davis, that'd be fine by me. I mean, I only have great things to say about Rich Gannon. Raider Mikey in L.A. Good to hear from you, Mikey, who's always at the games. What's happening?
JT, what's up, buddy? Last time I called you, I was getting pulled over by a CHP on the I-15, remember?
I do. You got out of it.
Live on air, yeah, I got out of it. Listen, I got 4 points to make, loud and clear. You and I have talked in depth about this before, but first and foremost, I think me and hopefully most of the Raider Nation want to thank AP for everything he gave. He was a Raider through and throughout. And just like McDaniel said when he got hired the second time around with the Raiders, when the first time he was hired by the Denver Broncos 14 years later, he said he learned a lot and all that, and we know what direction that way. And I guarantee you, hopefully Pierce will get another chance later down the line. And from this experience that he was given, and we all need to remember, every Raider fan, at least 80 to 90% of us wanted AP to be the coach last year as a full-time coach. So anybody that's going to sit here and say they should have hired him, blah, 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 blah. If you were at the last game last year, when the whole stadium was rocking AP, 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 we all wanted him. And we wished him the best. We thought he could do better, but unfortunate circumstances happened. So we wanted to thank him for everything he did, number one. Number two, all this name calling on people, coaches, fans, players, etc. These people have wives, husbands, mothers, fathers, children, and people that love them. There's no place for name calling anybody, regardless of how you feel. If you feel that way about them, keep it to yourself. Number three, and I think the last thing I want to say, and this is really important, on name calling or whatever. This guy called the team being dysfunctional. You and I have talked extensively about this. What an absolutely incredible person Mark Davis is inside and out. What a great heart he has. And he's so giving to his foundations, to things, to generosity and all of that. And he's been nothing but a stand-up, incredible human being. And I hate for anyone to put him under the same umbrella of how they felt about his father, because Mark Davis is an absolutely great human being, and you cannot blame him for these changes he's making, because every single change that he has made, every single change that he's made with the coaches have been nothing short of wanting to do better for them.
Yes, I got to run, Mikey. Appreciate it. Thank you for all that. As a passionate season ticket holder who drives to every game from L.A. and sees us from the torch. Yeah, Mark's a great guy. Mark is a great guy. No, I don't think anybody questions that. Mark wants to win and get it right. And Mark wants continuity and stability. Mark would love to have a coach for 10 or 15 years. He would. When the team isn't winning, then the team isn't living up to a high standard, or the team's playing really poorly, coaches are going to be let go. General manager is going to be let go. That's the way it works. And he's trying to get it right. And I think every Raider fan knows this, that Mark is trying to get it right. Mark is not his father, but Mark tells everybody about his will to win, what he loves. And Mark always listens to others when they have something to say about football and they know more than him. Mark's been on the business side. He's having a hell of a run here. Now the football team with wins and losses needs to catch up to the success of the franchise and the net worth and how big the relocation was and what it's done for the rest of the league. It's all about winning games, and we all know that. It was one of the toughest years I've ever had here, ever. And look at me, I'm fine. I'm bummed out that coach is gone. I want to go say goodbye to him. I wish I was in the building right now. I'm going to try to get over there. I want to thank him for everything he did for my family and I. He did a TV show every week, and he was the star of it. Not me. I just asked the questions. He answered every one. And sometimes he interrupted me to make the point. No, I mean this and that. And I love the way he handled that time that we had. Really impressive overall. Antonio Pierce will land on his feet. As I often say, when a door closes, another one opens. It's been my whole life. When a door shuts on me, another door opens, and it's usually the same or bigger. And we wish Antonio Pierce great things in the future. Kelvin is in San Francisco on the Raiders mobile app. Hello, Kelvin.
Hey, JT, thanks for the call. The topic of Mark's decisions. Yeah, I think he's 2 for 2 actually in correct decisions. I think it was the correct decision to hire AP at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was today was the correct decision as well. I think finally what doomed him was doomed AP was obviously the quarterback decision and the offensive coordinator decision the first time around. I think that was just too big to overcome, in my opinion. I'm actually really excited about this team. I think I'm a bit more optimistic than most Raider fans. This team reminds me of, I live out here in the Bay Area, so compare a lot of the teams to the Niners, unfortunately. And this team reminds me a bit of the team, that Niner team that when they got Garoppolo and he went down, and they were awful that season. They ended up with the number 2 pick in the draft. And then they ended up getting Joey Bosa, and then they ended up going either to the Super Bowl or close to the Super Bowl. And I think, I'll use your term, if the Raiders can thread the needle on this 6th pick, and which there are some studs out there, and we get an instant impact player, and we get this coaching hire right, I think this team is headed in the right direction. We're going to get one of the best players in all of college football if a couple of teams reach on a quarterback early. So I'm super excited for that. This team isn't that far off. Obviously, the injuries were incredible this year. As for the new coach, I just want to throw out there my opinions are in order. I'd love to see Gruden come back. If not Gruden, Pete Carroll, no brainer, then Vrabel. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that with a lot of people on the chat here. If you want to dive on our YouTube channel, JT the Brick YT, everybody's saying Gruden, Vrabel. I don't know where they're going. I don't. I think the world of Coach Gruden. I think that John Gruden, as Brent Musburger said on the show, it was a hit. It was a professional hit, taking him out. It was awful. Awful what happened to Coach Gruden. And not that he was innocent of those emails. Those were his emails and what he said. No doubt about it, but he shouldn't have been kicked out of the league. And he should have been back in the league. And I think he's going to come back in this cycle. So, of course, you always say John Gruden. You have to bring him up. And Pete Carroll, I think the world of Pete Carroll, too, as a future Hall of Fame coach. I think highly of Mike McCarthy. Because I know they're professional football coaches, and they know a lot more than me. And a lot more than great players who played in the league. There's only a handful of great coaches who are out there to win a Super Bowl, to win playoff games, to have all those winning seasons. Look at Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh now. He's getting heat nationally for not being able to win playoff games. And look at all the games he wins. It's hard to win. And it was hard for Antonio Pierce, but he gave it everything he had.
Previously on Unnecessary Roughness.
Big D, we got a 2-hour stream here. 2 hours stream.
And can identify what's going on with their team, what's wrong with their team, what the team needs to do better, identify
Who's this
what
guy?
they do really well.
AT's done. 20 years of losing is enough. So you're done? You're quitting on the Raiders?
Passionate about the team and also what they know about the team and kind of how it goes and what makes them go.
Don't miss Unnecessary Roughness weekdays at 2 on Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM.
This is JT for Grimaldi's, New York-style coal-fired brick oven pizza that you crave. 4 locations here in the Valley, Summerlin, in Boca Park, on the Strip, at the Palazzo, Southwest Las Vegas on South Rainbow Boulevard, and Green Valley on Southeastern Avenue.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste, brewed with fighting spirit since 1925.
Personal injury law has been the same for a long time. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam & Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way. Because you deserve a team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Sam & Ash, 702-303-03.
Phone is blowing up. I got 62 texts. Oh. All right. Appreciate everybody coming in today. You know, numbers spike when there's bad news and drama. I don't root that on anybody. We didn't see the issues coming, Randy. The Raiders fired Josh McDaniels and Antonio Pierce was in the building, and they gave him the chance to be the head coach for the end of the year. The team rallied behind him. The team really loved the guy. They rallied behind him, and they wanted him back. and the owner decided to bring him back. It's not your money, it's the owner's money. Could he have hired someone else? Yeah, he could have. He decided to keep Antonio Pierce. Yeah, you could trade for a coach if they want one that bad, if they want to trade for that. JT, you know I love Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. Still time to save big on rooms with their huge room sale. 2025 is calling with up to 40% off rooms. As always, free parking, free valet when you visit. This offer is good for reservations booked by January 14th. And there's so many more reasons to stay at Virgin Hotels, but their lineup for comedy is first class. Adam Ray on January 11th and Quinn Dunn on February 1st. I'll be there for both. Great entertainment always at Virgin Hotels. All right, so I got a show tonight at 7 to 10 p.m. on Mad Dog Sports Radio. So we'll do that tonight.
Cheesecake. You need food to take home for football viewing? Let Oasis do the cooking. Oasis Bar and Grill on Decatur, just south of Tropicana. Follow on Instagram at Oasis Bar and Grill to find out about
What's your name?
their specials.
Meet Barkley. When Barkley smells gas, he leaves fast. When Barkley hears hissing coming from a gas appliance, he leaves fast. When Barkley sees dirt or water shooting from the ground, he leaves fast. Barkley then calls 911 and Southwest Gas from a safe location.
Did that dog just grab a phone and dial 911?
All right, Bobby, let's wrap it up and get out of here. Throw it to Q.
We got 2 calls holding.
All right.
30 seconds.
Okay.
I'm going to play the last Crosby cut coming back.
Here's a good one. This guy, Miller, goes, JT never is intellectually honest because he works for the station. I listen, but he's such a homer. Oh, blame me. Blame me on everything. Blame me. Yes, it is easier to blame me. It is.
I was very clear about that. Moving forward. So for me, I just want to see action. You know what I mean? Not just words. That's the main thing. So I'm excited to have those conversations and moving forward. So once the game ended, it's kind of those conversations.
So Bobby was telling me it's Elvis's 90th birthday tomorrow. 90. If Elvis was with us, 90. That's interesting. JT, back with you. Kind of a sad day. Antonio Pierce, kind of a sad day. It is. You never want to see anybody get fired, especially someone who's part of the team, works for the organization. Antonio Pierce gave everything he had. This happens. It's happened before. It won't be the last time. And he is added to the coaches who are now available as he is out as the head coach of the Silver and Black. Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, the Raiders put out a statement. So the Raiders made it official after that, and we'll move from here on and try to figure out what's going to be the content. You know, for those who like radio as a business, if you like radio as a business, and we hope you do, there's going to be a pretty good offseason, right? Good in regards to the draft. Never good when a coach gets fired because his family and everyone's affected. But the content really picks up because we don't know how long it's going to take for them to go out there and get an interview going or get the right guy here. So it's officially official as the Raiders put out a statement. He is the 6th NFL head coach to be let go in this window. And isn't that the number that it always is? It's always 6. It's always 6 or 7 coaches that are available because of this. Murph in Buffalo. Wrap it up, Murph. What do you got?
Obviously, we know it. I'm in Buffalo. Buffalo's by the way. And, you know, it's just not easy. It's not like the guys put forth the effort. And for some of the callers, that's just absurd. I mean, why wouldn't they? I mean, right now, yeah, we're not going to get there's not a foundation. I don't see it. I really would like
Raider Nation, what's your name?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice way of saying it. Say goodbye to the coach, and hopefully he'll have an announcement and a statement. And thank Antonio Pierce for giving him everything you got. I mean, you're not going to like every coach. Everybody liked AP. I never call him that, by the way. I call him Antonio Pierce. But everybody enjoyed him being around and why he wanted to win. He's a very engaging guy who loved the Raiders and wanted to win. You got to understand that. I don't care if it's me behind a microphone, if you're hanging out in the black hole, if you're up in Oakland, wherever you are. Everybody wants to win. They're trying to get this right. It sucks to lose. And that's why this decision was made. Chris in West Oakland chimes in late. What's happening, Chris?
Blowing up with all this. Look, you're right. Kind of like the last caller. Today's the day. Kind of got to thank Antonio Pierce. Look, I see some of these morons on social media, the way people are celebrating. Look, a guy lost his job, a guy that loved the Raiders. Should he have gotten the job? That's all another story, man. But for what this guy did, he showed up to work every day. In a season that was lost before Halloween, there was never an ounce of quit in the Raiders, and that's attributable to Antonio Pierce. We'll talk in the coming days and weeks going forward, man. What do they want? What kind of coach? What are we going to do? I know what some of the direction I'd like to see the organization go, but it didn't work out. I don't think it was all Antonio Pierce's fault. With the coaches and quarterbacks in the division, I thought he was kind of sent into a gunfight with a knife with his quarterback situation. Again, there was some things to improve on. Don't think it was all his fault, but again, it's like Groundhog Day with this organization where we're in this cycle. We got to get it right at some point. Starts with the quarterback, the coach, get some stability. But today's the day to thank Antonio Pierce. The guy's a Raiders through and through. I know he played for the Giants, but the guy clearly loved the organization. There wasn't an ounce of quit in him. So, like we've been doing this way too many times the last decade, JT, giving our thanks and debt of gratitude for a guy that showed up to work and never once mailed it in. It didn't work, but again, thank you, Antonio Pierce. Best of luck. He'll get a job on a staff somewhere. The guy's a good coach. He's a good motivator. Thank you, my friend. Talk to you later.
Very classy call from Chris in West Oakland, a diehard season ticket holder in Oakland. Rarely missed a game. That's how you handle it. That's a perfect Raider fan right there. Thank you. Thanks for trying. Thank you. Please come back. Be a part of the family. You're Antonio Pierce. I only have good things to say about him. Out to Juan in Oakland to wrap up the show. Juan, go ahead.
Hey, JT, love your show.
Thanks.
Hey, I'm glad that everybody's giving thanks to Coach Pierce. He deserves it. You can tell he had his heart in it every step of the way. It just didn't work out for him. But the good thing that we have going for us is that I think Tom Telesco is a very good general manager. I think he's going to help turn this team around. And I think that having Tom Brady in the front office, he may have somebody that he has in mind as a head coach already. Yeah. So I'm looking at the bright side. And one other thing is, this might be a little far-fetched, but, Tom Brady was a stand-up pocket passer, tall, didn't run that much. Mm-hmm. That's what AOC is, isn't he?
Well, Aiden O'Connell has
might have something. Have a little something to do with it.
Okay, Aiden O'Connell is a stand-up. Thank you. He's more of a pocket passer, no doubt about it. We're not making any comparisons to Tom Brady, a quarterback. Tom Brady stood alone. That is it for our show, and it was a long one today, and it came out of nowhere. I didn't have any inside information. I woke up today. My phone's been blowing up. I had nothing coming in here that the coach was getting let go. He was there yesterday in the building, and he's gone today. Clearly, Mark Davis and his due diligence and meeting on this made a very tough decision a few hours ago, and his tenureship has ended as the head coach. And on behalf of everyone that can hear me in Raider Nation, I wish Antonio Pierce nothing but the best. It's always difficult when a coach leaves, especially someone who was so passionate and wanted to win as much as all the fans out there. and now the business cycle will kick in for the Raiders, is they're going to have to decide what they want to do next. There's a lot of coaches out there. You have to follow rules. The Rooney Rule, you have to follow rules on how to request interviews when coaches who are still coaching are available, and try to get in front of them quickly and make sure you find a fit going forward for this locker room, this team. And Antonio Pierce has big shoes to fill. He does. He's a culture guy, right? I spent that. I had him in the category of culture coaches, a guy who loves culture, loves everything that the Raiders said, knows the history of the team. Don't know if the new coach is going to know much about the Raider history, but he's going to come in and he'll be ready to go. This is a very important hire as we talk about the offseason of threading the needle and trying to get this right. So you don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know when you're going to say goodbye to people in life. This is a business decision. Been an emotional week. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to Morris Bradshaw, who passed away. I would have loved one more phone call with him, one more phone call to tell him I loved him, and he meant a lot to me. So, as we say, in life, there's business. This is sports. Coaches come and go, but you thank them for their service. And this great history of the Raiders has had some excellent coaches, and Antonio Pierce is on the list of people that came here and did everything they could to make it better. Q's coming up next, and Q will have a lot to say, and I'm sure he's loading up his guest list. The Raiders asked me to host tomorrow, live from Raiders headquarters. I'm sure it'll stream on the Raiders YouTube channel, and we'll have a lot of content out there tomorrow. I'm on Mad Dog Sports Radio tonight, 7 to 10 Pacific time. This will be a big topic also. Thanks to Bobby for navigating all of this today. And thanks again to Antonio Pierce and everyone who listened today. Hopefully the next decision is a good one, but we still want to thank the head coach, the former head coach of the Silver and Black, Antonio Pierce. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Got to roll. Got to open up the studio here. Thank you. Appreciate everybody chiming in today. These are those shows you want to kind of connect with me on. Thank you.